Good morning, everybody. Hey, it's Rob from the ProWresBlog here, www.prowresblog.blogspot.com. Hey, gonna do the ProWresBlog episode 1 today. Basically, I just wanted to review some separate singles matches and individual matches, I should say, that I've done, and wanted to just put them all together because I thought separately they wouldn't be that interesting. So we put them all together, and I figure let's go with that, and we'll see how far we can get with this. Maybe we'll do more. Today's features are the Machines versus King Kong Bundy and Big John Studd. From All Japan Pro Wrestling, Riki Choshu and Masa Saito versus Jumbo Tsuruta and Genichiro Tenryu. And Andre the Giant versus Seiji Sakaguchi. The first match, this is from Madison Square Garden from WWF. My guess is sometime around 85 or 86. I suppose I could have looked this up to find the date, but I didn't really think it was worth it because it was a terrible match anyway. So yeah, the Machines versus King Kong Bundy and Big John Studd. So this match came at a time where Big John Studd was doing the $15,000 Body Slam Challenge, where I guess if you slammed him for $15,000 and you got $15,000 for it. And this is one of the first matches of the Machines, from what the commentary was telling me. And the Machines, it all started in Japan because the Super Strong Machine was a gimmick there, and it did pretty well. It got a lot of interest, and it took kind of a blander wrestler and made him something special. And they basically borrowed it for America, and they used it as a way to cover up Andre the Giant. He was suspended from the WWF. I forget the reason why. I'd have to go look again. But he was suspended from the WWF for some actions in a match in '85, and this was their Yellow Dog angle or Midnight Rider angle where they could still suspend him and have him come back and wrestle. And onto the match. I don't know what I was thinking reviewing this one. Honestly, I have no idea. I really should have thought better because this was almost exactly what you would think it would be, and then it was worse. They didn't really do too much because, I mean, what can you really do when you have guys who are 300 pounds? They punched and kicked each other a little bit, mostly just brawling, and not a ton to it. One of them went outside, and Andre, of course, attacked him just randomly. Like, why? They were kind of winning, and Andre just randomly hit him. And no disqualification or anything. Match just continued on. I'm like, whatever. Studd and Bundy teased that they were going to fight each other after one of them missed the move and nailed the other one, but Bobby Heenan came in and broke it off and stopped them. From there, the Machines pretty much just took control. It was mostly all Axe. I forget. Axe was the Strong Machine, I believe. I'm sorry, Axe was the Super Machine, and he did most of the work here, just trying to do punches, kicks, and chops. Not a ton else because that's the problem when you're with guys the size of King Kong Bundy and Big John Studd. You can't really do a lot. They're not going to be bumping big for you. With that being said, though, I thought Bundy did do a decent job of selling, and he did bounce a little bit and gave him some love. But this was going to be a rough one. And then randomly during the match, the Machines were winning and had the advantage at that point. Andre just comes in and starts clearing Haas and beating up on Bundy. It didn't make any sense. There was no real explanation for it. And the ref basically let it go on for a little bit without really disqualifying him and then finally giving it the bell. Yeah, not much else to it. It was bizarre. It didn't make any sense, and it really wasn't any good. So, yeah, I don't recommend that one, and I had a really hard time even getting anything out of that. Next one up was Riki Choshu and Masa Saito versus Genichiro Tenryu and Jumbo Tsuruta from All Japan, February 5th, 1985. This is around when Choshu jumped to All Japan, and the crowd was just freaking into him like nuts. He was so over, and it wasn't even a question. I was looking forward to this one. I thought it was going to be a little bit better than it ended up being, but it actually was a little bit disappointing. The first 15 minutes or so were pretty much all traditional wrestling, taking it real easy, working some holds, maybe getting in a couple strikes here and there, but nothing major at all. And then I think like around 15 minutes in, they realized, oh snap, we've been in here for 15 minutes and we really haven't done anything. And they decided just to completely turn it around. Jumbo hit some of the best Dory Funk Jr. Under wrist uppercuts that I've ever seen, and I really like that because I've never seen that move look good. Like even when I see Regal and stuff do it, it doesn't. I don't think it's that interesting. But Jumbo made him look like they hurt here, and if you ever want to see a good forearm uppercut, he was up here. Um, Choshu and Saito hit a spike pile driver on Jumbo, and Choshu put the Scorpion Deathlock on Tenryu as Tenryu had to watch. And after that, they really just took it to town on Jumbo. They hit a top. Choshu came off the top with a knee while Saito was holding him, and they drilled him down. And then the match just went to the finishing stretch right from there. Saito started working the sleeper hold on Jumbo, and everyone, it just developed into full full mayhem at that point. Tenryu hit his enziguri, which is always interesting. He has such a weird way of hitting it. Like I don't know, it never looks that great, but it's something different. They traded some backdrop drivers, which was always good. We always love the backdrop drivers, and the Jumbo and Tenryu hit a really cool combo. Tenryu did his enziguri, and it looked like Jumbo hit a game nigiri. It was kind of hard to tell because it went so quick, but I really like that. I've never really seen that before, and I enjoyed that. More backdrop drivers from Saito, which also known as the Saito suplex. And near the end, Choshu caught Jumbo on the apron, and Jumbo was there. Choshu just lariated the heck out of him, which was like the spot of the match, driving him into the guardrails. And after that, they just brawled on the floor, and that was about it for the match, unfortunately. So, it was it was two separate matches here. They had the first part where they worked the traditional style, and then they had the second part where they just went at it. And I mean, both on their own would have been good matches, but together it just didn't flow because they didn't have any transitions in between to work it. So I'd say it was mildly disappointing. Like it was good, but I was expecting a classic, and I was a little bit disappointed by that. All right, last match of the day. Although I probably will do some more reviews. It was from New Japan Pro Wrestling, March 19th, 1974. Daddy, Andre the Giant versus Seiji Sakaguchi. Um, for some reason, my autocorrect kept typing Andre as Andrew the Giant. I'm like, what is going on here? And that happened multiple times. I've been wanting to check out some mid 70s Andre and some early Andre. I've heard the stories that he was just so athletic and like just really a total beast. And let me tell you, it's true. The hype is for real here. Man, Andre was really good here. He was working holds. He was selling. He was actually still mobile and he could do stuff. This was prime Andre the Giant. Like, I mean, you could just tell that this guy was the man back in the 70s. And I mean, it's a shame no one has ever seen him this good because he was really, really good. And I mean, if you ever wanted to know why he became such a huge star and had such a huge myth about him, look no further than this match. I mean, he had the work. He looked like a monster. I mean, he's like 6'10" at this point. He's in really good shape or so. And he could move. Dude was big, thick, could move. He had the big fro. He really looked like a wrestling version of Frankenstein or something like that. And he looked like a total freak, and it's just no wonder why it worked. But yeah, this was pretty much all technical. They were working holds almost the whole time. They did a little bit of brawling, but it wasn't anything special. Andre could go on the mat. You wouldn't think that from watching 80s WAF, but this dude could go. And it was a pretty solid match overall. There was one spot where Sakaguchi just put him in the head scissors, and Andre just literally held him and like moved him, and then he slammed him down. Andre also took a head scissors and did a forward flip bump over it, which I thought was pretty cool. And then I thought the highlight of the match was Andre got slapped by Sakaguchi, and he went all the way over the top rope, which was pretty cool. A backwards 360. Again, you wouldn't expect Andre to be able to do this stuff, but he could definitely do it. And after that, there wasn't much more to it. Andre put on a few more holds. He did a body splash, but he ended up doing his usual Andre spot where he gets caught in the rope. And right when he was caught in the rope, Sakaguchi went over to run into the ropes to go do something to him. And whoever Andre's manager was tripped him and started fighting with them there causing the DQ. I have no idea who his manager was. I've never seen that guy before in my life, so not a clue. But really disappointing finish for what was a good match. Like I think this could have been, this could have easily been 4 stars or more territory had they just let him do a clean finish. But this was the '70s, and back in the '70s when you had all these big stars fight each other, especially big American workers and stuff, like these dudes weren't losing. They were going to come and wrestle, but they were going to look good and they weren't going to lose. And that's sadly the case here, as we ended up with a DQ for Sakaguchi getting the win. Andre kind of celebrated after, and he looked like this total idiot because it's like, dude, you just lost, and he's just going nuts over it, and he thought he won. But I still gave this match 3.5 stars, considering everything. But you've really got to see some younger Andre. This dude was a beast. He would no doubt be like the top wrestler right now if they allowed him to be. If he was of age right now and wasn't, yeah. But go check out early Andre. You definitely want some of that. This dude was a beast. He's pretty much what I think all promoters would want. And that's gonna wrap it about up. So out of what I watched, I do recommend you check out the Andre match. The finish did kind of suck, but it was still pretty cool just to see Andre do it that way. And I don't recommend the Machines match. That was terrible. And the Choshu match, it has its good points, but that finish killed it, and it just wasn't good enough in the end. All right, so thank you guys for listening, and stay tuned for more here at www.prowresblog.blogspot.com.